With the Giants win on Monday Night Football over the Green Bay Packers, they are just one game out of the final wild card spot in the NFC. In today's video, we're going to show you how the Giants can get a playoff spot. But first, if you want the Giants to make the playoffs, do your part. Hit that thumbs up icon. The more likes we get on this video, the more likely it is Tommy DeVito, Tommy Cutlets, is leading us to the playoffs. So hit that thumbs up icon and don't be the person that jinxes it. Playoffs? Playoffs? We got to do it. We have to do it. A lot of people were mad when we did a playoff picture a couple of weeks ago. But just about everything we said that needed to happen for the Giants has happened. And now they are just one win away from having the same win total as the team in 7th place in the NFC. You look at the NFC playoff picture as it currently stands, as we're filming this video on Tuesday, the day after the Packers lost to Tommy DeVito, a.k.a. Cutlets. You got the division leaders of San Francisco. They are at that number 1 seed. You got the Dallas Cowboys at 10-3. You got the Detroit Lions at 9-4. Tampa Bay Bucks winning that division at 6-7. And the wild card teams. You got Philly at 10-3, holding down that first spot. And then you got a whole bunch of teams with a record very similar to the Giants. The Minnesota Vikings are 7-6. You should be rooting against the Minnesota Vikings at this point. Sorry, Patrick Seatman. Then you got teams like the Green Bay Packers, the Los Angeles Rams. Green Bay Packers, you have the tiebreaker over. You still get to play the Los Angeles Rams. You unfortunately lost to Seattle, and you still have the tiebreaker potentially over New Orleans if you beat them. Right now, following the Monday Night Football win, according to the New York Times NFL Playoff Predictor, the Giants currently have just a 2% chance to make the playoffs. And you might say, Marshall, 2%? We got absolutely no shot. Well, what if you control your own destiny? What happens? What if, we'll just live in a world of what if. What if the Giants win out? They have a 91% chance to make the playoffs. And winning out may be a little bit tough. No doubt about it. So let's at least go with a somewhat realistic mindset, right? Let's say you travel down to New Orleans and you beat a Saints team that's really not that good. That's really not that good. Let's say you win versus the New Orleans Saints. And then let's say you lose to the Philadelphia Eagles on Christmas. So you beat the Saints and then you lose to the Eagles on Christmas. Let's say you bounce back, though, and you beat the Los Angeles Rams, a team that doesn't look all that good, decent talent, but has lost some pretty important games. And then let's say in Week 18, the Eagles are resting their starters because they've locked up the number 1 seed in the NFC. And you beat them, as they will have Marcus Mariota at the quarterback position. If the Giants can win against the Saints, against the Rams, and against the Eagles one time, without any help, without having any team they need to lose, they would have a 40% chance to make the playoffs. Beat the Saints, lose to the Eagles, beat the Rams, beat the Eagles. The Giants would have a 40% chance to make the playoffs. What happens if you get a little help? What happens if some of the teams that you need to lose, like the Chicago Bears? I think Joe Flacco can beat the Chicago Bears. I don't think the Chicago Bears are that good of a football team. So I don't think it's asking a whole lot for the Browns to beat the Bears. What about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Well, I don't think the Bucs are good. We just saw that the Packers are very, very beatable. So let's say the Bucs beat the Green Bay Packers in Week 15. And then let's say the Eagles beat the Seahawks this week. I think all three of these things could happen. I feel really confident in the Browns beating the Bears and the Eagles beating the Seahawks. If the Giants beat the Saints, and these three things happen, the Giants have a 62% chance to make the playoffs. Tell me that Browns can't beat the Bears, Bucs can't beat the Packers, and Eagles can't beat the Seahawks? 62% chance. I'll ask you this question as we continue to go through today's show and showing you what you should be rooting for and what has to happen for the Giants to make the playoffs. But I want to ask you, will the Giants make the playoffs? Predict it for me down in the comments section. Type Y for yes. Type N for no. I better see 1,000 Ys. Let's speak it into existence. Before we get to the Week 16, 17, and 18 rooting guide, I got to tell you guys about our proud sponsor, Marine Layer. Go to marinelayer.com/chatsports, and you'll get 15% off your order. I'll make sure to put that link and make it clickable down in the comments and description of today's show. It's official. I found my new favorite clothing brand. Their stuff is so soft, it's absurd, and it makes for the perfect gift. All thanks to San Francisco-based brand Marine Layer. To spread holiday cheer, our listeners here on Giants Now get a 15% off discount with our exclusive link. Just head to marinelayer.com/chatsports. Honestly, you can get all your holiday shopping done at Marine Layer. I've got this polo, I've got the hoodie on screen, and I've also got a plain navy t-shirt. I've got a piece of gear and a piece of clothing for every different situation. And what I love most about Marine Layer is the versatility. This respun sport polo and navy warm stripe that I'm wearing, not only do I love wearing this to work, I honestly like wearing it when I go out and I golf with the homies. It feels light, it's stylish, it's comfortable. I feel like it keeps me warm, it's stretchy, it's extremely nice. I also have this hoodie as well, which is one that it's not going to keep you extremely warm, but on those morning walks, it'll keep you feeling good. It's light and it's extremely comfortable as well. I think we all can admit that great gifts can be hard to find. So look no further than Marine Layer. For a limited time, get 15% off at marinelayer.com/chatsports. That's marinelayer.com/chatsports for 15% off your entire order, saving your closet one shirt at a time. I love this stuff. I got the hoodie, I got the sport polo, and I got the plain blue t-shirt. They all fit great. They're all comfortable, and they're part of my every week wardrobe. Get hooked up with them. That information will be clickable in the comments and description of today's show. All right, Week 16 rooting guide. You need the Colts to beat the Falcons, which, isn't impossible. I think the Falcons are a better team than the Indianapolis Colts, but let's not act like Desmond Ridder is just going to walk in and beat Gardner Minshew in the Indianapolis Colts. What about the next team you need? What about the Lions beating the Vikings? The Lions have lost the last couple of games. They've started to fall off a little bit, but Dan Campbell is going to have that team ready to rock and roll the remainder of the season. And I think the Vikings are now on their 15th quarterback this year, so that's a game they could potentially win. One that I don't feel confident in, but can absolutely happen, as we just saw the Tennessee Titans take down the Miami Dolphins on Monday Night Football. How about they go and beat the Seahawks, who, ever since they traded for Leonard Williams, not saying it's Leonard Williams' fault, I don't think Seattle's won a game. I don't think Seattle's won a game since the trade deadline, and they look like one of the worst teams in the National Football League. If all this happens, and all the rooting guide in 15 happens, the Giants have an 83% chance to make the playoffs. Okay. All right. Let's keep it realistic. How about the Bears, led by big bad Justin Fields, goes and beats Desmond Ridder and the sorry-ass Falcons? What about the Bucks go and beat the Saints after the Giants just go and beat the Saints in Week 15? And what about the Vikings beating the Green Bay Packers in an NFC North rivalry game? Bears could beat the Falcons. Bucks can beat the Saints. Vikings can beat the Packers. The Giants would have an 89% chance to make the playoffs if all of these things happen in Week 17. But you know how the Giants can have a 99% chance to make the playoffs? If all those things happen, and in Week 18, the 49ers beat the Rams and the Saints beat the Falcons. This is with the realistic scenario or with them winning out as well. So the Giants don't even have to win out. If they just beat the Saints, the Rams, and the Eagles one time, and all the things happen that we showed you in the rooting guide, the Giants would have a 98% chance to make the playoffs. 98%. So you're saying there's a chance. What percent chance do you give the Giants to make the playoffs? Michael Morris says this conversation is making me wet. Same here. Because you know what? It doesn't seem all that unrealistic. It really doesn't. What percent chance do you give the Giants to make the playoffs? Scale it 1 to 100. I'm curious what you got to say. If you want the Giants to make the playoffs, subscribe. Sub for Giants Dubs. Do your part. If you subscribe, probably more dubs. Sub for dubs. And you get free content every single day on Big Blue. Subscribe to the channel. Free Giants content every day.